Hi there, Vicky here. So I know I'm a bit of a mess. I was just outside harvesting all sorts of tomatoes, and looking, in general about the garden. But I'm not back in the air conditioning, thank goodness. And I wanted to spend a little time this evening with you, just talking about how much it really cost me to get all that set up. So let's just jump right into it. So welcome to the office. So let's take a look at everything that went into the bed so that we can see just how expensive it was. So first up, I got the metal raised beds. I do have 12 of these. So 12 times 35, we'll just round. That's $420. Go ahead and write that down. This was by far the least expensive option that I could find in terms of getting a raised bed. There were other raised beds that I saw online that were, $75, $100, $200 or more each, and I'm just not made of money, so. So let's talk then about what I filled the raised beds with. So the bulk of the soil is the Star Green flower and vegetable garden soil. I put 2 bags in each bed, if I remember correctly. So that would be 2 times 12 is 24. All right, so 24 times 8 is $192 that I spent on this soil. But I didn't just put that, of course. So I also put a bag of mushroom compost in each one. So there were 12 of these. So 12 times, we'll round that up to $4, $48 on the mushroom compost. And then I also added perlite and or vermiculite. So I bought one of each of these bags of this. So here you can see the vermiculite was 55 and the perlite was also 55. So I did put that in both. Now, I did also buy 1 bag of these worm castings. I used them sort of as some fertilizer, and I also put them directly into the raised bed on a couple of the beds. Overall, I think I wish I hadn't just mixed it into the soil. I don't think it added anything in that instance. I do think it was helpful as a fertilizer in general. But yeah, I don't think it just added anything to my raised beds. But I did buy one of these and it was 25 bucks. All right, now recently I also did a little bit extra stuff in the raised beds. So I bought 8 bags of this black cow. I did not need a whole bag in each bed by any means. So we'll round this up to $7 at 8 times 7. 56 is what I spent on this, and I do think that it helped a lot. A lot of my plants were kind of stunted, and I think this has helped some. So we'll see. But I did spend on that, and then I also topped them with cypress mulch. So I got 6 bags of this. 6 times 4 is $24 is what I spent on mulch. And especially with how hot it's been for me this summer, I definitely think that was a great idea. So that brings us to other fertilizers that I have used or have been using. I recently added a little bit of blood meal to some of my plants that looked like they were struggling. This should help the leaves sort of rally and get that nice dark green fertile look to them, which I think will help the plant in general. I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe I just used up all the nitrogen that I had, but I definitely think this was a good idea. Bought it at the beginning of the season and didn't use it until last week, but I did get one bag of this, so that was $15. Then I have used quite a bit of bone meal in the yard. This is what I have been using to try to combat against the blossom end rot issue on some of those tomatoes. I have used 2 whole bags of this. I need to find a different, better way for this for next year. Because while I am producing tomatoes, I am not producing enough to spend $40 on bone meal every year. So we're gonna work something else out. But for this year, yes, I spent $42 on bone meal. There were other fertilizers that I've also used. This is the one of 2 sort of all-purpose fertilizers that I use. I picked these up at Walmart. This is the screenshot from walmart.com. I do believe this is probably true to the cost that I paid for it. And I do think that having some sort of all-purpose fertilizer has been helpful for me in the garden in terms of getting my plants to grow and mature and produce, but I don't think I'll be using granular fertilizer next year. I'll try to put out a video that sort of talks about what I've learned throughout this season, but I just don't know that this is for me. But anywho, I did buy this. It was $6. And then I got one as well that is geared towards tomatoes, and it was $6 too. So these were pretty inexpensive compared to what I paid on Amazon for the other brand. Oh, and this is just that bone meal again. Interesting. But yes, I did buy that twice. So I wonder if they were different sizes. Now this, I think I have really seen benefit from. And next year, I think I'm going to look again at this company perhaps and see what other types of liquid fertilizer they have. This one is very low in nitrogen. Of course, over the winter, I'm going to be growing a lot of things that need nitrogen. Things, you know, that are those dark leafy greens. And my understanding, okay, for the limitations that it is, my understanding is that those leafy greens require nitrogen. So I'd love to see what else they have. I think this has been a total game changer, and I will absolutely spend $30 a year on this. You just use a teaspoon per like 2-gallon water can. And then when I use the fertilizer, so it's a teaspoon per watering can, and then I do 2 watering cans per bed. So that's like 24 teaspoons once a week. I may even have some left over at the end of the season. This has been great. So yes, we'll be buying again next year, unless I can find a way to make it myself. Now, that takes us sort of through the beds, what's in the beds and what I've put on the beds. But I did also have to have some other infrastructure stuff for my tomatoes that, you know, they needed something to contain them and support them. And then 2 for the cucumbers. And that is what I have here. So at Tractor Supply, I got quite a few of these T-posts. Let's try to count how many I got. So for the raised bed that has the tomatoes in the front and in the back, I put 4 posts up. Then in the bed behind that, I just used 2 posts because it's just got the 1 row of tomatoes. In the bed next to that, again, just 2 posts, 1 row of tomatoes, and the bed in front, again, 2 posts because it's just 1 row of tomatoes. Now I have another 2 posts that are helping with my cucumbers. And then I put 1 up randomly in the middle of the yard, but I didn't ever do anything with it. But that's 1. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 I bought of these. I do think I got this height. That feels right. There were definitely taller ones, but I remember them being like kind of out of my price range. So I think this is the one that I got. So 13 times $6. Yeah, $78 on the posts. Now, what I didn't realize at the time that I started going down this path is that I wouldn't just be able to use a mallet or a hammer or something to pound them into the earth. And I ended up having to buy this tool to do that. So that was another $30. Now I will have this forever. Never have to buy it again, but yes, I did have to buy this. Now, in addition to these things, I also did buy some stakes for my tomatoes. I didn't feel that the twine situation was enough. I am fairly certain these are what I got, but I am confident I did not pay $10 a post for these. My best guess is the price has changed because the season, you know, there's less inventory maybe of these at this point in time. And the ones that I got were red, but this is similar to what I used. We're gonna say that they were $6 because I'm pretty confident they were not 10 bucks. I really would think I would have noticed. Now, in terms of how many I got, 3, 6, 9, 12, I think is what I got. And then I had to kind of start sharing and pulling. So we'll do 12 times 6. Whoops. 12 times 6, 72, we'll say, is what I spent on that. And then lastly, I did need the twine. So the first twine that I got was stupid overpriced. I don't know why I bought this because that was dumb. It's really not a very large quantity and it was very expensive. And I bought 2 of these. So that was $12 on the green twine for absolutely no reason. I then did come to my senses a little bit and I got this much larger thing of twine on Amazon for $6, which I also have kind of blown through. So overall, I did use a lot of twine, but this is significantly better than what we had. So if we are following along, we had 6 plus 12 for the twine. Then we had 72 and 78 for the supports. We had $30 for the post holder. We had quite a bit of soil and soil amendments. 6 plus 6 plus 42 plus 15 plus 56 plus 24 plus 25 plus 55 plus 55 plus 48 plus 192. And the beds were for 20. That brings us to $1,142 that I spent setting all that up in the back. So yes, quite an expensive endeavor. That doesn't include tax. Let's actually add, I honestly don't even know what the sales tax is. Let's add 8%. So times 1.08. Let's call it $1,234 that we spent getting all that set up. Yes, quite costly. My hope is that I will be able to use these beds for years and years to come. I do know that I have to work on the soil next year. So like I spent, I don't know, $300 on soil and soil amendments, and I feel that the soil was just not nourished as much as it should have been. And so I do think that I next year will need to either remove and replace or do something with the soil. So that's a little unfortunate. I know I have that expense coming up. Right now I'm being very thrifty though, because in the spring when I set all this up, I had tax refund. And I no longer have tax refund. Instead, I'm just staring at, back to school and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of these events that we might have to host and buy for. we're not spending in the yard right now. But I am happy overall with what it has provided for us. It has brought me joy, which is immeasurable. And it's also been giving us food. It'll continue to give us food over the fall and winter. And then, in the spring, we'll sort of regroup and see what we can do to amend or fix or replace the soil. Anywho, until next time, toodaloo.